Kevin Nash, you got your break in WCW in the late 80s. At the time, the top tag team in WCW was the Steiner brothers. Now, we always hear about the British Bulldogs being big rivers in the business, but at the time in WCW, were the Steiner brothers bullies to young talent? I've heard rumors about them and how they would brutally haze the young talent that would come in.
True.
Would you consider being taped to a table and having a pencil stuck up your ass?
I call it a Thursday night, but
I call it. One time this thing goes down and fucking Robbie sticks a pencil up this fucking guy's ass, and I looked at him. I said, "Do you know that's a felony? That's sodomy." I said, "I'm walking out of here because I don't want to be in a deposition."
now who would this be? I know, just another wrestler, a job guy, or Mel Phillips? Who?
Fucking, it could be anybody. It could be a top guy. I've seen fucking Lex walk into Augusta TV all fucking jacked with cowboy boots, and fucking Steiner walk behind him and kick his feet together. Fucking watch Lex do a fucking back, and nobody would fight him.
Right.
You know?
On roids and raging and hurting people and stuff like Scotty Steiner, Rick Steiner, I think is a quality guy. Scotty is not near, to me, he's a legend in his own mind, and he's a problem. He's a real problem because he doesn't mind. He'll hurt people. He intimidates the shit out of them, and he's just not that good. I wanted to turn him heel. I thought he'd been the greatest heel in the world, which later was true, right? He was a good heel. He was a terrible babyface, and he wanted to outshine his brother, which I didn't want him doing. I wanted Rick to be the key guy because I knew I could count on Rick. But Rick is more loyal to blood than to anything else. Plus, you know, the guys were right in the long run because I wasn't going to last there, and they knew they were going to get their own way. So Scotty Steiner was a problem.
I didn't live the life of this guy.
He keeps to himself a lot.
Okay.
And I don't know why he took a liking to me. Like, when you first meet him, he's going to try to bully you around. And I mean, if you talk to any other wrestler, it might have been the same. Like, you know, Danny Daniels up in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was doing the same thing with them, trying to bully their way through the promotion. All this, anytime. But if you stand up for yourself, I mean, he just totally backs down. Like, yeah, he just. I'm trying to think of what. Like this one time we wrestled, he wanted to do the Steiner screwdriver, and I said, "Scotty, what do you want to do for the finish?" He goes, "Steiner screwdriver," and I'm like, "Wait, can you swear on this?"
Yeah, please.
He goes, I said, "Oh, fuck you." I said, "What do you really want to do?" And he goes, "Well, you don't think I could do it?" And I'm like, "You haven't done it in 10 years." And he goes, "Well, I could do it. You don't think I could do it?" And I'm like, is that what you really want to do for a finish?" He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then I'll be like, "All right." And he goes, "Why don't you give me the Destroyer?" And I'm like,
sabotaging his career. Well, Eric had left to go do something, and our main event on Thunder was going to be Scotty and somebody, but the person wasn't there, so we put Mike Awesome in there. And in an effort to make this show fresh and exciting and new and different, we were going to figure a way to have Cat, who was a heel at the time, cause Awesome to win, which would give Scotty as a babyface, you know, a reason to, you know, overcome. Well, I stayed away from Scotty all day because I could see him pacing like a cage lion, and Scotty doesn't have much of a poker face. He was in the mood, and I knew I was going to get it. I just didn't know when, because I was in that position of I would say authority, but it's not authority. I was in the position of giving directions with no. I was a cop on a beat with no gun in the worst part of town, and when the time was right, I used to sit right at the gorilla position, which was right where the guys go through the curtain. And Scotty was going to go first and take Medeja and do his little, you know, holler if you hear me promo and all that. Then we'd send Mike. And I don't think Scotty will care about me saying this because we've laughed about it since, but Mike Awesome comes walking up, and there's a format that's written up that the video wall person, the director, depending on the camera shots of who's coming out, and the music and the pyro and the video wall. A lot of things go off this little script we have. It says Scott Steiner music and entrance. Well, Awesome comes walking up, Scott's music plays, and Awesome from me to you goes, "Oh my God, he's in a horrible mood, he'll kill me. I'm supposed to go first." Can't. It's too late. You know, you can't on a live show rewind it and tell the people that was, you know, a do-over. Go. Mike Awesome walks out there like a kid who knows he's going to get whipped by his daddy. I mean, he's in his character and he's doing the best he can, but he knows that the atomic bomb is on its way. It's been sent. The next thing I do, I look over and we got this tube. It's like this covered, enclosed area, and I just see this Scott Steiner loping towards me. In his face, I could tell it, and I knew it was coming. And Scotty was so filled with emotion, and I don't mind guys venting that are passionate, emotional, and driven. It's just, it's got to be tempered with a little bit of wisdom, and sometimes directed in the right channel. Right? He comes in and cusses me like a dog. UMFSOB, worthless shithead, da 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 da. And I'm like, what? And he goes, "You're sabotaging my career. You da 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 da. You know, he's supposed to go first. I'm the champion." I said, "Scotty, you always go first and do your holler if you hear me promo." "That's bullshit. Da 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 da. You fired my girl." You know, Kim Canner. I didn't fire her. She knew if she didn't go to wrestling school, she chose not to work here. You didn't have the courtesy to even tell her to her face. I left it on her machine because I called 4 times and she wouldn't answer. She had to know. You know, wanting to physically hurt me, which I don't think he ever really wanted to. He just, at that time, you know, it was in him. And I said, "Scotty, you have 6 minutes. Let's do our job and I'll be here when you get back." Back you, da 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 da. He goes out there and Mike Awesome took the ass kicking of a lifetime. He got his hand raised and that was it. And I lied. I'll just tell the truth. I lied. When Scott came back, I was gone.
Did any of the workers ever refuse or complain about you and Scott's style? Because I remember reading about it all the time.
Yeah. Well, back when Turner first started it, we'd have these TV matches, so it was never, you know, top guys against top guys. Never middle guys against middle guys or anything. So everything went to TV. You wrestled. These guys that they bring in from Florida or wherever else, right, hadn't been on TV or anything. And so when we got out there, hell, we were just getting started, getting over it. Hell, you know, so we were overly aggressive,
right?
You know, and we wouldn't really hurt the guys. I mean, hurt them, or you know, breaking bones or anything like that. But you know, we were laying them in, you know, stuff like that. And a lot of guys had a lot of problems with that.
Anybody that you remember in particular?
I remember, well, there's a few. I remember clothesline. I got a screw in my bicep here, and I remember when I started doing that clothesline, I'd throw it as hard as I could. And I remember catching Gary here and busting his teeth going through his lip at center stage. I remember a guy messing up a couple moves with my brother. My brother just beat the living shit out of him for real. You know, just punching him. I'm not trying to kill him, but punching him. And then I remember another time in Perry, Georgia, we wrestled a kid that was half blind, and I didn't know it. And he didn't know it at the time, and I can't remember what the guy's name is. But he kind of messed up the finish, and we come back, we were pissed. And there was a kid there, a blonde-headed guy. He had blonde hair, and he had a dark beard, and I can't remember his name anymore. But he kind of thought it was funny.
All right.
And he pissed my brother and both of us off. We ended up just beating the shit out of him in the locker room right there. But you know, it was one of those things. You know, you guys are stiff and you guys are rough, but in the end, I think that's what helped us.
Yes, he'll be trying to kick mine. I definitely know that. So,
how are things right now in TNA for you? We've recently seen the program with Matt Morgan, and you seem like right now that Orlando crowd, they were really getting behind you. I mean, busting out Hurricane Rana's here in Orlando still unbelievable.
It's a Frankenstein. It's not a Hurricane Rana.
Very true.
That's a move that they copied from me. That's a move I invented. Don't ever f***ing called it Hurricane Rana.
Frank
When are you
Steiner.
talking to me?
All right.
All right?
Tell us.
And now it's okay. We're gonna pick on Jock today. It's the Steiners.
Yeah.
So I don't mind if they, a few jokes and this and that. And Carl that was with me at the time, and we were the Quebecers.
And Carl's a pretty tough guy. In
yeah, yes sir. Yeah, yes sir, yes sir. And he, so they started picking on me, and we just took the titles from them. I think that's why they were pissed off too, because and so then they just started picking, nagging. And when I wasn't answering back and ignoring them, then he took some kind of piece of paper or something, like a straw that was all, and he just threw it on me, and I got it on my head, and my two wires clicked together.
Right.
I got up, I took a green apple, and I turned around and with all my strength, I threw it in his face.
Right.
And it's funny because between me and him, there's a pole about this big
Right.
that's standing between him, and the apple hit the pole right in front of him and exploded in front of his face.
Right.
And everybody was looking like if that didn't hit the pole, I was giving him a nice black eye or something really bad. It was I lost it.
Yeah.
And he just, it's funny because everybody stood there and they looked at me, and then he just, and for me it was like, leave me alone. I miss my kids. I don't need this.
Right.
And he just put his head down, he turned around, and they left. And they stopped bugging me.
Right.
I had to do that 3-4 times in my career. You don't want that in the business. And the worst.
Do remember about him is he would physically threaten people to beat their ass if he wasn't happy with the way shit was going. Like people in the office. I know for a fact Terry the Stooge Taylor was very afraid of him, and Steiner had called him out. And I remember for a long time, I don't know what the problem was with Steiner in Dallas, but he was always burying him in the dressing room and burying his wife. And I was like, sooner or later, this is going to get back to Dallas. And he said, fuck that. And he actually went up in the ring and buried both of them on national TV without telling anybody.